What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Set. His name is Joe. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Oranos. His name is Flux, also known as Kimo. This is a bit of a guilty game selection from me. I've been having a lot of trouble in this matchup as Set, and I'm really interested in what Joe does. We don't get to see a whole lot of Joe's gameplay, so when he plays a matchup that I find difficult, I'm like, I got to watch that one and see exactly what he's going to be going for. Unfortunately, these games, or unfortunately, or whatever, these games are ladder games, so no observer in these games. But we'll have to wait and see how it's going to go. So, as always, we don't really need to take a whole lot of information or a lot of build order notes from Joe, because Joe plays the game in his own unique fashion. What's important with Joe is that, strategically speaking, he plays Egyptian better than nearly anyone else. So I'm excited to see what he's going to come up with here. Now, Kimo hasn't really played a whole lot of Atlantean recently. Obviously, he's never going to be a bad Atlantean player, especially Oranos, but hasn't been playing a whole lot of Atlantean lately. He's been playing a lot of Hades. He's been playing a lot of Ra. So interested to see if he's got anything new cooking with Oranos. A couple of interesting Oranos ideas, especially against some early game Set cheese, is the idea of having your early oracles coming through to deal with that sort of Set cheese. Grugnir's Odin Spear here as well. It's going to be a big assistance there for the Murmillo as well, as the hippopotamus getting eaten up. We'll see how it's all going to go as the Oracle is going to be scouting around. We do see Joe's grabbing himself the lion straight away, making sure he can scout everything out, finding the hippopotamus in the middle of the map. One idea here with Set is to try and get out a fairly early second temple so that you can get some extra priests out, so you can convert a lot of this center of the map here in the early game. It does slow your kind of advance times down to some degree, though, I mean, my brain is kind of telling me that you could probably get out a 430 advance time, 0 monuments with a really early second temple, and that would be a really great way to play on this map, in all honesty. Definitely something for the Set players to experiment with, is maybe starting 2 villages on gold and making a temple really early to make some extra priests out while aiming for a 430 or 415 advance time, giving yourself a ton more hippopotamus to help out. Anyways, let's look at what the problems here for the Oranos player has to, Kimo, he's going to have to deal with. What are the problems he's going to have to deal with here? Well, one is early game shifting sands play. He's got hippopotamus that he can eat underneath his town center. He's got this wood line here. He can move this villager back over onto this savannah tree as soon as the advance time comes through for Joe, so no real problems there. These villagers over here possibly don't want to be eating this gazelle, or maybe he can eat the gazelle, but definitely wants to move back onto this hippopotamus when the early game or the classical age hits here, as we do see that Joe's moving into the Oranos base, getting a little bit of a scout in here, checking out what's happening as we've got the temple up on this position, oracles back over here as well. If we take a look at Joe, he's got himself his temple up. He's advancing to the second age. He's got no monuments here. Eating his hippopotamus. Walls coming down. And I don't see any sort of priest shenanigan here just yet, but he is queued up to grab this town center. So he wants the forward town center here against Oranos. Now, it depends on what sort of a strategy you're going for. You can grab a second town center against Oranos and put a barracks down, but there is an idea of a kind of naked 2-town center fast heroic with Set playing around the idea of utilizing shifting sands to shift off of the town center into your main base with whatever villages are there once the attack starts coming through, and then going into some sort of a heroic age strategy. There's many strategies you can go for, but it's definitely an idea. But I'm imagining that this build that Joe's doing is looking very much like a 2-town center classical fight here, as he's moving these villagers over to eat the zebra on this position, scouting everything out. In the main base of Kimo, we do see Vision over here, This could just be an attempt at scaring these villagers, and he is indeed scaring them, running straight to the manor. No shifting sand's going to be coming through here for Joe. He's just scouting out, ensuring he knows what's happening here, ensuring there's no town center going up on this position that he needs to worry about. And I like the play from Joe. Scares the Oranos player something fierce there with that vision. Definitely something to consider, especially idea being that this means that the Oranos player can't go for a significantly fast second town center, or because otherwise you get shifting sands done and it's going to be a pain. As the Oracle is going to be moving back out, and double counter barracks here from Kimo, showing the Terma hand as Joe here going to be moving up onto this granary here, eating that, saving all the hippopotamus as much as he can. He's got 3 hippopotamus here. That's 900 food he can eat underneath this town center. Do we see an armory here? Still no barracks out just yet for Joe. And the fact of the matter is, if the Oranos player goes double counter barracks, this Fort Townsend is not that bad anymore, because the Terma, they can move in and they can force the villagers to be idled, but they're not going to be able to take the town center down. And worst case scenario for Joe is he can just shifting sands his villagers back home to eat them inside of his very, very defensively walled up base here, as the villagers retreating off of this position. Kimo, he hasn't even scouted that. He doesn't really know what's happening. And Joe's just playing a bit safe there with the villagers, ensuring they're inside of his main base nice and safe. Do we see an armory? There's the armory up. Still no barracks up just yet here for Joe, as he's going to be throwing up another wall over here, trying to keep these villagers as safe as possible. Pharaoh comes forward, going to be able to snipe down that Promethean as well. Good micro there from Kimo to pull back, but still on the defense to some degree. And where to next here for Kimo? He's already got his second town center coming up. Will he go for the third town center in the middle of the map? He is producing Terma yet again to try and break through this wall here, or these double walls here, are going to be too much for the Terma. They're not going to be able to do all too much damage to Joe. Really nice usage of that. And we do indeed see that Joe has decided to throw down a barracks here. Really, really late on the barracks. 6 minutes and 40 seconds. He could still just be considering going straight to the heroic age. He's eating the gazelle in his main base. He's got plenty of hunt to eat underneath his town center here. Double barracks actually coming through as the villagers look like they're starting to build up on the wood. Not really, actually, so I'm not sure exactly what his plan is, but he will be more than capable of hitting some sort of a heroic age here in a decent fashion. As Kimo, I mean, there's ideas here for Kimo. So ideas being 3 town center is the standard play, but some sort of not crazy fast heroic age, but some sort of like 9-minute 10-minute heroic age here from Kimo would be really, really strong as well. He doesn't necessarily need these Terma anymore. Idea being, you can go straight into destroyers, straight into Satyr, and that's really, really tough for the set to defend, especially if barracks are out and slingers are coming through. Now, Joe, this could just be a kind of fake from Joe to some degree, being that if Kimo sees these barracks, he might go, okay, Joe's spamming slingers, spamming barracks units here. This means I don't need to fight him. I can just go for the heroic age and have some advantage where that's concerned. As the Terma searching around. Great armory, great building placement here from Joe to defend this town center here, as the Terma have to push back. Joe just about to advance as well. Kimo, on the other hand, he is no longer building Terma. He's seen the barracks, and he might consider just going straight to the next age. Now, a little trick here, if you are going for these sorts of strategies where you're trying to cut units and go to the next age, you can bring these pigs up close to the wood villages. Just take all your wood villages off but one for the citizen training time. Everyone else onto food and gold, and you can make your way really, really fast up to the next age with some efficient walking time reduction. As the slingers are started, the heroic age is coming in. 9 minutes and what looks to be 9 minutes and 15 seconds-ish for Joe's heroic age. Pretty slow for set standards, but Joe's got the barracks up. He's got all the defenses in place, and this is probably Joe's idea. He says, no naked advance time. Get the walls down, and then the Oranos player is going to have some difficulties as the Terma move up onto this position, see that There's no villagers here. And in fact, Kimo might be stuck back here because the walls are up. And this is really, really good for Joe. He gets this wall up. He's going to lose this villager, but can those Terma get out of here? They can't get out of here. They're stuck in this location. There's a huge amount of HP these Terma are going to have to break through to kill this wall off. And Joe could also throw another wall up behind here. These Terma are absolutely stuck here. And this is nightmare. This is as nightmare as it gets for Kimo. We'll see if Joe wants to make that idea happen and put another wall up over here or what. As Joe gonna come over here and try and get a little bit of damage. You got to be a little bit careful with his units. The slingers do have a range advantage of 4 here, so they can sit fairly far behind that wall, getting some good damage done. As it will, I mean, the wall will go down, but I mean, at what cost? Now the Migdol's up in the center of the map. Joe's gonna be making elephants here straight away as his idea. This is dangerous because if Kimo's gone for a relatively fast heroic cage, you can go through Hyperion, and this is the reason I don't make elephants, is because it's just, you're playing a coin flippy game where if your elephants get chaosed, that's nightmare. If they don't, it's obviously fine if you've got all of these human units here, but you can like the Oranos play can definitely play around that as the units here of Kimo getting greeted by the slingers of Joe. Kimo gets out of there without as many losses as I thought he would have, but nice play from Joe. Kimo going to have to be rethinking his kind of Terma expeditions in the future here as Joe very sneakily getting those walls up. Very nice play. As now the units are all pumping out, and it looks like Kimo is just simply going to be sitting in the classical age. I like this building positioning around the town center. I would have liked to see him continue surrounding the town center on every single different area there as Ancestors does come down. 3 war elephants are out. A siege tower is out. Ancestors is through. Joe is at 130 population right now as he is full send, and Kimo can do nothing but retreat at this position as the Terma over here going to get shanked down. Nice reaction there from Joe. As Kimo has to pull all the way back. The elephant and the siege tower will start going up to this town center as well. There's a couple of citizens here which will be able to clean up that siege tower, but you don't have a good answer to these war elephants. But again, if Kimo was heroic cage, it doesn't look like he's close to the heroic cages. Nightmare is basically striking here with the citizen jumping out, killing the siege towers. Does manage to shockwave those units. The army of Kimo simply going to be retreating away for the entirety of the duration of that Ancestors. Nice play to distract from that one. Probably could have left some of the units up on this position to take out the town center, as the villagers here are going to be slowing this town center's destruction by repairing it up. And the army going to be moving back over there. We do see Joe making his way up here as well to try and defend this, as we'll see what Joe can make happen, and if Kimo can find a defense in this game. Town center 300 HP remaining as the unit's trying to get back and pick off those elephants as fast as he can. The Scorpion men here can get targeted down really, really fast, but the town center falls, and I mean, the army quality of Kimo, decent at this point here with his Murmillo. There's not really that many units that counter the Murmillo here in this fight, so they are going to be getting some good value as the Scorpion men goes down. More units are going to be moving forward here, as now we see some Chariot Archers coming through. Chariot Archers are a dangerous unit to make for set against Oranos, because they've only got 5.0 speed, which means the Terma can basically hit them. Even if you micro the chariots out of range of the Terma, they're still going to be able to find some damage onto your Terma, as they do retreat back up to this position. And now Joe, he's still 2 town centers, but look at this. He's clicked up through Horus. Now, Joe's game plan is very different to mine, but the way that I see it is, if Set can get a decent heroic age and not be too far behind in the game, sorry, mythic age, not heroic age. If Set can get a decent mythic age and not be too far behind in the game, which is what's happening in this game, that is absolute nightmare situation for the Atlantean player, because Rhinoceros set are coming, Myth units are coming. God powers are coming, it's really, really tough to deal with that, as Joe here pushing forward does garrison to that siege tower. Definitely want to keep that Pharaoh alive so you can make those Rhinoceros of Set. Also grabbing this third town center would not go astray. Alternatively, if he doesn't want to spend the resources on building said town center, he could get, or the villager gather time income on building said town center. He could get fortified town centers as a different option. He's just got the resources for it. And now you can see what the problem is with the Chariot Archers is the Terma pushing forward will take out the Chariot Archers very, very easily here. But now Axemen are coming through. They're going to deal with the Murmillo nicely, but not really any answer to those Terma. Funnily enough, it might be a better idea to just continue making slingers here rather than the Chariot Archers, or even go Chariot Archer Slinger as an option, with the Chariot Archers able to take down the Murmillo and the Slingers able to clean up those Terma relatively fast. But Joe going to be retreating back. You do see the Promethean here getting taken down. And there's the Mythic Age for Joe, as the town center here going to be feeling a lot of pain from that tornado. Is there too many buildings here, or will the town center go down? It does look like the town center indeed will go down, even with all those buildings. That's why it's so important to get yourself that Masons out when you feel a Mythic Age coming. And now we've got the Rhinoceros set out. The Avenger is in. Is there any upgrades on this one? No. Avengers, the unit of choice here for Joe. Again, I find this a really, really dangerous thing to do, because if the Atlantean player is anywhere close to the Mythic Age, they will be going through Hyperion in this matchup. They will be chaosing your Avenger, and life is going to be very, very upsetting. But at this point, the Avengers are going to getting a lot of value, and Kimo, he's still not close to that heroic age, so he's in a very, very difficult position here, as the Rhinoceros of Set army of Joe retreating away as he's getting more Migdol strongholds up, and he can start thinking about getting some upgrades onto those Chariot Archers. Plenty of resources in the bank, and the Pharaoh is now out as well to help out on the front. But at this point, Joe hasn't really found himself that tangible advantage. He's got himself attack advantage, but he still needs to convert his win here, as the Avengers moving forward. Shank down some villagers here. Hero Citizen is out to push the Avenger back, and Joe does need to retreat back here. We do see some priests coming through here to deal with those Prometheans, as the Avenger just moves in and going to be able to get a lot of damage done into the core of those Terma. Prometheans are actually a decent unit here to utilize against the Avenger. I think they've got bonus damage against Myth units, 200% bonus damage against Myth units, so they will be able to take it down relatively fast. So the Avenger still getting damage done. Town Center just about finished up here for Kimo, as Joe's Avenger retreats back. Going to be able to stay alive here, joining the army. The Chariot Archers will be able to take out those Murmillo heroes and everything else, as the Avenger just continues moving in, taking out so many units. The amount of value these Avengers have given Joe in this game is absolutely insane, as more citizens falling down, buildings falling around this position. We move over to Kimo's perspective. He's only at 100 population, as Joe is just going to continue getting further and further in front here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe throwing a market up in the corner and starting a trade route soon here, but in that moment, Kimo does decide that the game is lost, and Joe finds a really, really nice victory here in this one. Really nice play here from Joe. I would have been interested to see Kimo utilizing the kind of more meta Oranos play here against Egyptian, and seeing what Joe would have done against that. The meta here, it seems, against Set is if, or against Egyptian in general, is if the Egyptian player takes a forward town center in this matchup, a forward second town center, they go for one town center all in on the on this position, and life can get really, really difficult really, really fast for Egyptian players here. And I would have liked to see how Joe would have reacted to that, but instead he kind of allowed Joe whatever he wanted here in this game, and Joe took it to Kimo and found the victory. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.